Same, but different. The new Isuzu D-MAX and Mazda BT-50 have landed in Australian showrooms. Now, to the casual observer, they have a passing resemblance, but the truth is these two dual cab utes are almost identical underneath the skin, and they're even built on the same Thai Isuzu production line. The question is, who's done the better job? Isuzu or Mazda? Let's find out.
Look past their nose jobs and there is no mistaking the resemblance. As a result of a new utility alliance between Isuzu and Mazda, the D-MAX and the BT-50 share most common parts, a lot like the previous arrangement between the BT and the Ford Ranger. Here we're looking at mid-spec LS-U and XTR offerings. Officially, the D-MAX is slightly cheaper in automatic trim, however Isuzu charges extra for metallic paint. Mazda doesn't.
So just what is physically different between these two? Surprisingly, when you put them both together, there are some subtle tweaks aside from their noses. Different door skins, different creases and folds across the tub and tailgate, different wheel designs, and even different tail lights. Inside, there's a common 9-inch centre display, climate control switchgear and driver instrument cluster. The differences really come down to details like the contact points and the seats. Now, the Isuzu trumps the Mazda with 2 additional cup holders outside the outbound rear air vents, as well as tinted windows, while the Mazda has keyless entry and start and an auto-dimming rear view mirror as standard in this spec.
The sameness theme permeates the engine bay as well. An identical 3-litre turbo diesel engine, which is an evolution of previous Isuzu units. All told, you get 140 kilowatts and 450 newton metres, along with a claimed fuel efficiency rating of 8 litres per 100 Ks.
Now, if we really want to get into semantics, the Mazda is officially 15mm longer, but the Isuzu that I'm in now is 10mm wider. In terms of weight difference, well, there's about a case of beer in it, nothing at all. They're virtually identical under the skin, and not surprisingly, they're pretty much identical on the road as well. There's some diesel clatter at low revs, but beyond that, the diesel engine segues into smooth, linear and progressive power, working really well with the 6-speed automatic transmission to not only provide smooth upshifts, but well-timed downshifts under braking as well. And at highway speeds, the engine simply purrs along. You hold about 1500 RPM and actually go some way in achieving the official 8 litre per 100k fuel claim for either truck. Now, both the D-MAX and the BT-50 benefit greatly from the introduction of electrically assisted power steering, and they do feel more confident and poised than their predecessors during fast changes in direction. But the elephant in the room here is ride comfort. It's quite tolerable on smooth surfaces, but on the B-grade country roads that I'm on at the moment, pitter-patter style imperfections tremor through the cabin, and harsher obstacles can be quite jarring at times. It's very, very difficult to pick a difference between these two, but if anything, I feel like the D-MAX has a slight edge in this comparison, but only because it's got an optional $3,000 hard cover sitting over the rear, which adds about 50 kilograms worth of weight. But otherwise, you won't split these two dynamically.
The D-MAX and BT-50 both have a 3.5 tonne towing capacity, 1 tonne payload, and off-roading systems that include low and high range 4-wheel drive, rear diff lock, hill descent control, and a water wading depth of 800mm. Ultimately, that means this comparison comes down to styling, specification, and after-sales care. There's also the issue of Isuzu taking the lead during engineering and development, which should also win it some kudos. Since appearances are totally subjective, we'll reserve official judgments. Pricing and specification are virtually line ball. While the BT-50 might trump the Isuzu with keyless entry and start, the D-MAX has tinted windows and is cheaper to begin with. On the warranty front, the D-MAX offers 6 years and 150,000 kilometre provisions, edging slightly ahead of the BT with its 5-year unlimited kilometre schedule. Over a 7-year service plan, the Isuzu is marginally cheaper, and it's a similar story for its dealer network, 157 dealers nationally versus Mazda's 141. Red Book data reveals similar retained values for both utes as well. It's definitely a close call.
Two different brands and on face value, two different utes. But the reality is that the BT-50 and D-MAX are merely separated by marketing, specification and cosmetics. That makes picking a winner difficult, but in this comparison, it's the Isuzu by a nose on account of its friendlier warranty provisions and bigger dealership network.